Alright, before we even start, I need you to lean in for a second. Because what I'm about to tell you is not just another feel-good talent show story. This is about moments that cracked people open on live television. Moments that made hardened judges freeze. Moments that split the internet in half. And moments that, if I'm being honest, made me sit there staring at my screen long after the music stopped, asking myself why something as simple as a golden button could hit so hard. The first time I rewatched these golden buzzer reactions from Britain's Got Talent *, it wasn't the confetti that got me. It was the silence right before it. That terrifying, breath-holding pause where you can almost hear a lifetime of rejection hanging in the air. And here's the part that stopped me cold: every single one of these people walked on stage expecting to be ignored. Some expected to be laughed at. A few were already bracing themselves for another quiet walk back home with nothing to show for it except another, "At least I tried." And then, everything changed in 1 second. But wait, before we go any further, I need to say something directly to you, because I've been reading your comments. Yeah, the real ones. The ones calling out the drama. The ones saying, "This all feels staged," or, "Come on, nobody reacts like that for real anymore." And honestly, I get it. In a world full of scripted TV, overproduced moments, and AI-generated stories, it's hard to know what's genuine anymore. I felt the exact same way when I first watched these clips. I rolled my eyes. I told myself, here we go again. But then I went back. I watched the raw auditions. The uncut reactions. The moments before the music even started. And what I found absolutely wrecked me, because you can't fake fear like that. You can't fake hands shaking that badly. And you definitely can't fake the way someone collapses when years of being invisible suddenly disappear in a shower of gold. So let me take you back to that stage. Bright lights, a massive audience, and judges who have seen everything, or at least they thought they had. The crowd usually thinks they know what's coming when Cowell leans back in his chair. He's calm, almost bored. This is a man who has crushed dreams with a raised eyebrow. But there have been moments, rare ones, where something hits him so unexpectedly that his entire body language changes. He leans forward, his jaw tightens, and suddenly, the room feels different. The audience senses it before the buzzer even lights up. Something is happening that wasn't planned. And that's where the first layer of this story begins. Layer 1 is expectation. Every golden buzzer audition starts with a quiet battle between hope and embarrassment. Contestants smile, but their eyes tell a different story. You can see it in the way they answer questions. They joke too fast. They laugh too loud. They're trying to protect themselves before the judges can do it for them. And when the music starts, you realize just how much this moment costs them emotionally. Because this isn't about fame yet. This is about being seen. I remember watching one audition where the singer's voice cracked on the first note. Social media exploded instantly. TikTok clips with captions like, "Here we go, another sob story," started popping up within minutes. Twitter, sorry, X, was ruthless. "Why do they always cry? This show is pure manipulation." Reddit threads were already debating whether the buzzer was pre-planned. And then, the voice settled. The nerves faded, and something raw poured out that shut everyone up. You could literally feel the judges recalculating in real time. And then it happened. The golden buzzer slammed down, and the reaction wasn't screaming. It wasn't jumping. It was collapse. Pure collapse. Knees giving out. Hands covering faces. Grown adults sobbing like kids who just realized their life might finally change. That's when the internet flipped. The same people mocking the audition minutes earlier were suddenly typing, "Okay, I wasn't ready for that." TikTok stitched the reaction over and over. Twitter timelines turned from sarcasm to shock. Reddit went quiet in a way that only happens when even the skeptics don't know what to say. But here's the part that truly broke the internet. That was just the surface. Layer 2 is history. What the cameras don't always explain is what these people were carrying onto that stage. Some of them had been turned away from this exact show before. Others had lost family members who never got to see them succeed. A few had been told, directly, to quit, to get a real job, to stop embarrassing themselves. And when the golden buzzer hit, it wasn't just approval. It was an apology the world never gave them. One contestant later admitted online that they almost didn't show up that day. Their car broke down. They sat on the curb crying, debating whether the universe was telling them something. Imagine carrying that weight, stepping on stage, and then hearing the roar of an audience that finally believes in you. No wonder the reactions look unreal. That kind of release doesn't look pretty. It looks messy. It looks human. And this is where Amanda Holden comes into the story. Because when she hits the golden buzzer, it's rarely impulsive. She watches faces. She watches posture. She sees the nerves before the notes. And when she presses that button, you can see her eyes fill up like she's reliving something personal. Fans noticed it too. TikTok comments flooded in saying things like, "Amanda knew." You could tell she felt it before anyone else. Others pushed back, accusing her of playing to the camera. The divide got ugly fast. Which brings us to layer 3, the reaction war. This is where things get wild. Because golden buzzers don't just change lives on stage. They start wars online. One side calls it inspiration. The other calls it emotional manipulation. You'll see comments like, "I cried like a baby, don't judge me," right next to, "This is why reality TV is dead." TikTok creators reenact the reactions sarcastically. Twitter users post side-by-side screenshots claiming the judges' faces were too perfect. Reddit threads analyze timestamps, hand movements, even the exact millisecond the buzzer was pressed. And yet, views keep climbing. Shares keep spreading. Because love it or hate it, you're watching. I know what you're thinking right now. Okay, but are these reactions actually real? And I asked myself the same thing. That's why I went deeper. I watched behind-the-scenes footage. I read interviews. I looked at how contestants acted when the cameras were supposedly off. And here's what got me, some of them stayed on the floor long after the confetti stopped. No performance. No audience. Just disbelief. That leads us into layer 4, and this one is uncomfortable. Layer 4 is what happens after the golden buzzer. Because the truth is, not every buzzer leads to a fairy tale. The pressure skyrockets. Expectations crush people. Fans turn brutal. If the next performance isn't perfect, the same crowd that cheered becomes ruthless. Comments switch from, "protect them at all costs," to, "overrated." Some contestants later admitted they couldn't sleep. That they felt like they'd already peaked. Imagine having the best moment of your life at the very beginning, with millions watching, and then being told you have to top it. There was one golden buzzer moment where the judge's reaction went viral more than the act itself. The way the judge froze, hands over mouth, eyes wide like they'd just witnessed something sacred. Fans replayed that clip endlessly. Memes exploded. And then, weeks later, the contestant struggled in the next round. Social media turned cold overnight. TikTok comments read, "See. It was hype." Twitter trended with, "This is why golden buzzers ruin people." And that's when it hit me, the buzzer doesn't just lift people up. It exposes them. Now, before we get to the final layer, the one I promised I'd save for the end, I need to pause and talk to you directly again. If you're still watching right now, you're exactly the kind of person this channel is for. People who don't just want the clip, but the truth behind why it hits. And if you've ever felt dismissed, underestimated, or laughed off before you even finished speaking, you already understand these reactions more than you realize. That's why, right here, in this moment, if these stories are hitting you in the chest the way they hit me, take a second to subscribe and turn on notifications. Not because I'm chasing numbers, but because these conversations don't end when the confetti falls. They continue right here. Okay, final layer. And this is the one nobody talks about. Layer 5 is the judges themselves. People forget that Simon Cowell *, Amanda Holden *, and the rest aren't just reacting to talent. They're reacting to regret, to careers they didn't bet on, to voices they ignored years ago. When a golden buzzer reaction looks too emotional, it's often because it's personal. One judge admitted off camera that a certain audition reminded them of someone they passed on early in their career, someone who never got another chance. Read that again. Never got another chance. So when that buzzer slams down and the judge's hand shakes afterward, it's not just celebration. It's relief. It's a second chance being handed out in real time. That's why some reactions look almost painful. Because they are. And here's the biggest shock of all, the golden buzzer isn't really for the audience. It's for the people who've learned what it feels like to be wrong. To miss greatness when it's standing right in front of you. So now I want to hear from you. Be honest. Which golden buzzer reaction actually got you? The one you didn't expect to feel? The one you still think about when it pops up on your feed late at night? Or are you still on the skeptical side, convinced it's all just television magic? Drop it in the comments. I read more than you think. Because at the end of the day, gold confetti fades. Viral clips move on. But that 1 second, when someone realizes their life just changed forever, that part. That stays real. And that's why we keep watching.